All right, good morning. This is Kylie Baker, and this morning I'm here with Ashley Sterken, who is the CEO and founder of Hive Ambition, which was established in 2024. So thank you, Ashley, for interviewing with me this morning.
Thank you.
Let's get started. And if you could just tell me a little bit more about Hive Ambition and what it offers.
Sure. So Hive Ambition is a membership-based community for women in business. We offer support, resources, and tools for women to excel in their entrepreneurship journey, both virtual support and resources, as well as in-person events and networking opportunities.
That's awesome. And can you tell me a little bit about your background and what inspired you to start Hive Ambition?
Sure. So I have been in business operations for the last 8 years, working at a software technology firm, Thortech Solutions. For the last 3 years, I have been the chief operating officer over there. I run things like I head up our recruitment, our HR, business operations, and overall strategy. I am a mom to a 4-year-old daughter, and I have really, since having her, I have felt a calling to really focus in a little bit more on elevating women in business and supporting kind of the next generation of women who come through as entrepreneurs. And the inspiration behind Hive came, have been working remote for 8 years. Love it. There's great perks of it. Also lonely. I started wanting a more local group of like-minded women that I could learn from, grow with, connect with. And I started looking around for what I wanted to find. I couldn't find it. And so my husband actually said that I should create it, and I did.
Awesome. Perfect. And then what gap in the market did you identify that led you to really sort of hone in and create Hive Ambition?
Yeah, so I initially was not going to create it myself. I was just going to find a group that existed because I assumed there was one that existed. Started Googling and researching, and there were several other networking groups in the area. But one of the things that was important to me over the last 2 or 3 years, I've had my own kind of like personal growth journey that has really had a major impact on my professional career. And I wanted something that had a little bit more focus on professional and personal development because I feel they're both critical to the other's success. And that's what I couldn't find. So networking stuff can be kind of cringy. It can be stuffy. And I really wanted something that was not that, and that it really was like deeper, more authentic and real than just networking and exchanging business cards once a month. And so that felt like, I felt like if I wanted that, then it's likely other women who wanted that too. And I felt that was the gap. No one was really providing that in the area.
And what are your main goals and vision for Hive Ambition?
Yeah, so my main goals and vision are I want to create a place where women feel empowered to go after their dreams. They feel supported by other women through various resources, tools, and trainings, but also feel that they have a place to be vulnerable and heard in whatever struggles that they're facing in their personal or professional life. And at the end of the day, I want to create a community of women who feel super connected, empowered to build their businesses, and hopefully make some lifelong friendships.
So Hive Ambition it's relatively new, so this should be some pretty fresh information for you. But what were the biggest challenges you faced when starting Hive, and sort of how did you overcome them?
Yeah, ideation was really hard for me. So like I felt like I opened up this creative portal that was really exciting, but also felt really overwhelming. So in the beginning, I had all of these ideas like swirling around in my head. And it was really hard to kind of like focus and narrow in on what was really worth pursuing. So I had to get really organized quickly, because all of the vision and ideation and all of that, while it felt fun, it felt super overwhelming to me. And I knew that if I didn't kind of hone in, it would get away from me. So that felt like a struggle that I faced at the beginning. And then another one was time management. I think every entrepreneur experiences that. I have a full-time job, and I'm a mom, and it was really hard to figure out how to balance all of those things. Luckily, I'm a pretty organized person and routine person, so I was able to find my stride pretty quickly of how to dedicate time to all of the things I needed to dedicate time to. But that doesn't always come easily. for some people. So I think that is likely to be a challenge for a lot of people at the beginning.
I was going to say, what was the very first thing you did for Hive Ambition? What was, you said you had to kind of get organized, but what was the first thing you did?
The first thing I did was, so I am a planner to my core, and I love to project plan and task plan, and I live and die by this tool called Asana. This is not sponsored by but I got organized by the way that I know to get organized. I'm used to accomplishing big goals at my current job as a COO, and there's a certain methodology in kind of breaking down those goals into milestones that are achievable and things like that. And so that's what I started doing. Is I was like, okay, I have all of these ideas, all of them are great, but I really need to identify which ones are really in line with my vision of Hive and which ones can be broken down in a way that are actually achievable.
Okay, and can you share a pivotal moment or a turning point in your journey with Hive Ambition?
Yeah, so when I started Hive Ambition, this was like a side hustle, passion project. I really truthfully had no intention of ever leaving my full-time job. I'm very happy there. But then when I sold out my launch party of 80 tickets in 72 hours, I realized that that my plan probably didn't matter anymore, that this had a life of its own. And that's when I really started thinking like, oh, this is going to be something bigger than me. That was a really pivotal moment for me whenever I sold that out.
And then how did you secure funding for Hive? And what advice do you have for others seeking to fund any startups?
So Hive is self-funded. Hive, outside of my time, which is valuable, but at the beginning, entrepreneurs know that you aren't really paying for your time in the beginning. But outside of my time, it's a relatively low-cost company to run because a lot of it is online. There is still cost, but compared to other business models, it's lower. So that allowed us to be able to self-fund Hive. I will say, as from advice, my partner and I work really closely on this, and we treat it as if we are getting funds from a VC firm or a board of investors. And what we do is we release lump sums that we both agree on that financially make sense for us. But in order to receive those, we also agree on metrics and milestones that the business has to hit to show growth, to make sure that we are kind of keeping in check that we're investing in something that is worth investing in. And so I think no matter if you're doing self-funding or going through a VC or whatever, going in with the mentality of having those guardrails in place of like, okay, I need those guardrails, those checks to kind of say, all right, did we hit this milestone? Because that shows growth in the business, and don't just invest a ton of money at the beginning. Set those checkpoints up.
Okay, moving over to some marketing-based questions. What marketing strategies did you initially use to launch Hive?
Instagram has been a powerhouse for Hive, and it continues to be. As far as my strategy on Instagram, really what I've leaned into is like just be consistent, showing up, show your face. So many people are scared to talk into a camera. I was 100% when I first started, and you do it a few times and it's not as cringy as you thought it was going to be. But show your face. People want to see the human behind the brand. People really connect with that. And then I also focus on the feeling of Hive versus what you get. It's still important to communicate what you get in your marketing strategy on Instagram, but especially if you're leaning into social media and Instagram, and I'm building a community, but people, and post-COVID, this has been especially true, is people want to feel something. If you can sell a feeling and if you can communicate that feeling, that is going to resonate with people. And so I focus a lot on the Instagram content that I make to be speaking about the feeling that you get with Hive, in addition to the tools, the resources, and all of those things. Another thing that I did is I started an email list from the beginning before the launch. And so I used that, I would market that on my Instagram, join our email list so that you can be in the know. And the first one to hear the buzz about the upcoming launch party, about the upcoming launch of the platform. And that allowed me to build up a several hundred email list very quickly and early into my business that I can now use for like warm networking, warm email marketing, and things like that.
And how did you identify and then reach your target audience? And what would you say your target audience is?
So my target, I have done this type of exercise many times in my role as a COO. And I found that sometimes it can be hard to figure out your ideal audience. For Hive, though, it felt really easy for me because my target audience was me. It was someone who have been a remote worker for the last 8 years, maybe a solopreneur or a small business owner who feels disconnected from others, who feels overwhelmed, who feels lonely. And as we age, become moms, all those things, it makes it harder to find friends. And so it's kind of that woman who wants to continue pursuing her dreams, but is having a hard time figuring out how to find the time to make the connection she needs to make, get the resources she needs to have in order to grow that business or excel in her career. And so for me, I kind of just did some soul searching on why did I create Hive, and that was my target audience.
And can you share any successful marketing campaigns or any initiatives that significantly boosted Hive's visibility?
Reels have been super successful. I've done a lot of reels on Instagram. Figuring out kind of what you want to communicate in your reels and having that theme throughout your content can take a little bit to figure out. It did for me. But once you do, I think that reels can be a really valuable tool. And then also the in-person events. So people crave connection right now. And I think when people can feel your energy and your excitement about what you're building, it's like 10 times what Instagram can do for you. So having some type of meetup or in-person events to where you can really showcase your personality, your passion, your drive about what you're building, I think is really important. And then we did a lot of online giveaways. So I had people donate, women-owned businesses that wanted their business marketed, and we did giveaways, and that actually increased my reach very far from just participating in those giveaways, and really got my name out into other people's like Instagram feed.
And how do you've mentioned community is so important, in Hive Ambition's philosophy. So how have you really fostered a sense of community among the members?
Yeah, so virtually, I kind of split it up for Hive because there's this virtual component of community and then there's kind of this in-person component. But virtually, it can be hard to build community virtually. But we do have an exclusive online platform that you get access to as a member. And there's so much conversation going on in there. I post daily prompts and questions to get people thinking and get connections made. And then I also, like, if I see someone that app is meant to, if you're looking for a new software for your invoicing, you can post it in there and say, does anyone have any experience with XYZ software? I'm looking to purchase it. I'm just not sure. I try to do a really good job of connecting you to the right person. So if you, Kylie, posted in there, I might say, tag Sarah and say, Sarah is a great resource for you. She's going to have some great tips. And so that really helps connect new people together, and it continues to foster that community. The in-person aspect, the monthly networking meetups are amazing, but also, like I mentioned earlier, networking is stuffy and networking is cringy, and it's not what I really only wanted to be about. So we also do things like we have monthly Hive hikes. We have exclusive events like Hive member dinners, and we're doing a lake day coming up. So also things that allow you to bond on a deeper level than just exchanging business cards at a happy hour. And then outside of that, I really show up in the same way that I'm asking other people to. Like, I try to show up and support women every single day in that app and online and in person. But a lot of the activity happens in the app the same way that I would. And I think that people see my passion, excitement, and motivation, and that kind of ignites throughout the community. So I think really showing up in the same way that you're asking other people to do is really important too.
And then what role does sort of networking play in your business model, and how do you facilitate it?
Yep. So we have the monthly networking meetups. And then we also do virtual workshops. We have virtual roundtable discussions with subject matter experts. So those are all some different ways that we network. But when it comes to the in-person networking, because that's where real connections are made, a lot of it is free flow, but I also throw in a little bit of structure every now and then to make sure that people are meeting new people and not just staying in their kind of safe zone with their +1 that they brought. And so I do breakout groups sometimes where there might be a topic for discussion, and there's small groups around the event that are talking about the discussion, making new connections, and things like that. And then I also mentioned, we have, outside of just business networking, we have other events to deepen those connections. The Hive hikes, dinners, places that maybe it's not expected for you to talk business. It's really just expected for you to connect more with people. And I think the more that you do that, the more successful your business is going to be anyway. Business is about trust. So I think a lot of it is about building trust between the community members too.
And then how do you gather and implement feedback from your Hive community to improve your services and what you're offering?
I do a ton of polling. I do a lot of polling. So I poll the Instagram community, which the Instagram community is not all members, but those are my target audience because they're following me. So I do a lot of polling on that community to learn about what they're interested in. But also I do a lot of polling in the actual online community for the members. And I'm constantly experimenting with new things, experimenting with new days and times for networking meetups, different topics. Our topics for the virtual workshops and things like that are chosen by the community. So I will put out maybe 3 options of what is it? Is it marketing on social media? Is it small business taxes? What is the next workshop intensive that we really want to do as a community? The community votes, and I go out and find all of the resources that I need that are subject matter experts in that space, and we put on a training for them. So I think polling and asking your community constantly helps you stay ahead of the game too, as you need to adapt and evolve your offerings, because you're also consistently learning about their pain points and what they want more of.
What are the top 3 pieces of advice you would give to someone looking to start their own business?
Building a business that feels aligned to your higher purpose. So I think that when you are living into your higher purpose or building into a mission that's bigger than yourself, it gives you a different kind of drive in building that business, because it's not just for you. You're contributing to something on a larger scale. And also people can feel that you are very passionate about what you're doing and that you're really there to serve the community. Another piece of advice is don't price yourself too low. So that is something that I have learned. I think sometimes when you're doing work that feels really aligned with your mission and your purpose, it can be very hard to want to charge high for that, because there is this sense of service and this sense of passion, and you just want to do it. You would almost do it for free, but you can't do it for free because you'll burn yourself out. So don't price yourself too low, and listen to people when they say you're priced too low. It's almost like I had that exact same thing happen. And then the last piece of advice I would give you is get organized. I am really fortunate in this area. I excel in this area. I've learned a ton at my role as a COO on how to effectively set goals, achieve goals, measure goals, all of those things that really help you move toward where you want to be in your vision. But that's not the case for a lot of people that I have known that have started businesses, and they get stuck sometimes for months and longer because they can't get organized and they can't get clear. And so I think my advice is that if that's you, if you're not typically that person, ask for help, find someone who is, and get organized quickly, because then you can really start making progress toward your end goals.
And how important do you believe it is to have a mentor or advisor, and how has your mentor or advisor influenced your journey so far?
Yeah, I think having a mentor or advisor is critical. The mentor that comes to mind is my current CEO, Eric Thorson. I've worked with him for the past 8 years. He has been a life-changing role in my life. He has pushed me in ways that I would not have pushed myself. He believed in me at times when I didn't really believe in myself. I've had other mentors, but Eric kind of like takes the cake of all the mentors. And I think one thing that's really important for entrepreneurs to understand and remember is, yes, it's great to learn new skills from a mentor. That's great. But really what a mentor does for you is they push you out of your comfort zone. And they're going to force you to grow. They're going to see things in you that you don't see. And they will push you and push you and push you to grow. And you have to grow personally if you want to make it as an entrepreneur. And so I think it's really important when entrepreneurs are seeking out a mentor to not get hung up on like, how high up are they, or what can they offer me skill-wise, or what will I learn from them skill-wise? Because I think really the magic happens when you find someone who builds confidence, who builds resiliency in you, and really helps you grow on a deeper level.
What skills or traits do you think are most important for an entrepreneur to possess?
Yeah, I think like one of the biggest and most important traits is humility. You don't know everything. It's your brand. You have the vision, but you're not the smartest person in the room. And if you are, you're doing it wrong. So like, surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. Don't get so hung up on needing everything done your way or perfect, what your version of perfect is, because there's so many other people who are so much more skilled than you. So I think that humility is a really important one. Organization. Get organized. If you are not an organized person, find someone that is an organized person who can help you get organized. It's so critical. So many entrepreneurs flounder at that level. They have a really hard time getting organized and actually getting anything done. So I think that that is so critical in the beginning. And then I think another one is authenticity. Showing up authentically. And again, that like kind of goes back to building a business that feels really aligned to like your mission in life. But authenticity, people feel that and people know that. It's one, going to give you a better drive. It's going to give you, you're going to have way more fun building your business that way. But two, authenticity is like your most powerful marketing tool, because people can see it in the words that you write through your email campaigns and on your website. People can hear it and feel it in the videos that you're posting out on content, and people can hear it in podcast interviews. It's just authenticity. Yeah, authenticity, I really think, is your most powerful marketing tool when it comes to it. So I think that making sure that whatever you are building feels really authentic and true to yourself is one of the top pieces of advice I would give an entrepreneur.
And what are your future plans for Hive, and how do you plan to achieve those goals?
Future plans for Hive. So year one, I have a 3-year plan. Also, that's some advice. Have a 3-year plan. Think long-term. Don't get so hung up on the here and now. So my 3-year plan, year one, which is right now, is just to grow the membership. Grow the membership and build trust and community within all of the members. I think that's really important. I don't want to focus on anything else right now. I just want for people to feel the support and the community of Hive as they join all through this first year. So that's my first goal. Year two, I am wanting to launch mastermind groups, which is kind of like small groups. It'll be small core groups of women, maybe 5 to 6 women who are ready to kind of like take their business to the next level. So the base membership will still exist, but then you can make a larger investment and get access to women who are also in the same boat as you, ready to level up. I will be facilitating the mastermind groups along with other certified coaches, and we will help you track your goals, hold you accountable to those goals, and get you further in your business during that program. The other thing I want to launch next year, which I'm really excited about, is going to be our very first annual summit. So in June of next year, which will be exactly 1 year after I launched, June of 2025, I want to hold like an all-day summit. I want to have keynote speakers. I want to have workshops. I want to have just a whole day event of kind of celebrating the birthday of Hive, but also just this amazing event for people to come to, members and non-members who want to grow their skill sets. Year three, I want to launch a podcast. that is all about interviewing and highlighting women's entrepreneurship journeys. And I also, this is something I'm really excited about. It's in this next one is in year 3 because I think it's going to take some time to figure out who my partner is for this. But I am really passionate about wanting to give back to the next generation of women. And so I want to start a mentorship program where I partner with like a local university and for women, girls that are interested in pursuing entrepreneurship, pair them up with entrepreneurs, Hive members, and take them through an entrepreneurship mentorship program. And I think I'm really excited about that one because that's kind of like helping, you know, when I think I'm 37 years old and I think, oh my gosh, if I had known what I know now at 18, it would have been, I've learned so much on my journey, but it might have just been a different journey for me. And so I think giving back to that generation of women is something that could be really, really valuable and really, really rewarding.
And then how do you stay adaptable and innovative in the ever-changing business landscape?
Yeah, like you have to be flexible. You have to be constantly evolving, experimenting with new offerings, talking to your customers all the time, polling your customers, interviewing your customers, understanding what their biggest pain points are currently and also what they're most afraid of, right? What are their biggest challenges that they foresee in the future of their business or the future of whatever your customer journey is for your business, but making sure you're staying really in lockstep with understanding what their needs are now and what they think their challenges are going to be in the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, because then you can start to experiment with offerings that are helping them solve their challenges before they even get to that challenge. So I think that just customer feedback and being almost obsessed with getting that feedback from your customers will help you stay adaptable.
And then how do you balance personal life and the demands of running a business?
I don't feel that work-life balance is a thing, especially for entrepreneurs. I believe much stronger in work-life harmony. I think that you have to figure out a system that works for you. So setting boundaries is so critical. I have a family. I have hard boundaries and also like my to-do list will never get done. The sooner that you accept that, the more freedom you will have. I will never complete everything I intended to complete that day. It's just how it goes in entrepreneurship. But setting clear boundaries will help make sure that you don't burn yourself out, that you are showing up in the other roles that you have in your life. And that's something that's really hard for women, right? That's something that I connect with a lot for other women in business is we have a lot of other roles. Oftentimes we're a partner, oftentimes we're a mom, we're a daughter, we're a friend, we're all these things to other people. It's really hard to make sure that you're setting up time for yourself and making sure that you can play all those moving parts in your life. And then the other thing is make a routine and stick to it. I am super routine. And so I have designated times each day that I know I'm going to work. Because right now I have Hive, and I also have another job, and I'm also a mom, all these things. So I have to set aside time to make sure that I'm chipping away at all of those things and staying on top of them. And then the other thing is that become a pro at task management and project management. And if you're not a pro at those things and you don't want to be a pro at those things, hire somebody who is. That's going to be huge.
And what motivates you to keep going even when you're faced with setbacks or challenges in your business?
For me, I feel like I am living into my purpose. So I know that even when I have challenges and setbacks, I was literally meant to do this. I've never felt more sure about anything except for maybe the day that I became a mother, that I was meant to do this. And so when I experience these challenges or setbacks, because you're gonna experience them, I think about that. I often will revisit my core values and my mission, and I look back to my why. Why did I start this? Where did the passion come from? And a lot of that for me comes from my daughter. I want to provide the resources that the next generation of women need, and the support that they need to be empowered to go after their dreams. And so when I feel like I can't continue to do this, or this is too big, I think about that higher purpose, that higher mission, and I kind of just like dust myself off and get back at it.